Welcome in today on HHS TV. I can't believe it, but I only have 3 normal days left in high school. Okay, so here's what's going on today. We have numerous videos, a video on the Day of Silence, as well as more of my enrollment growth series. That's all right now, live from the Harriton High School television studio in Rosemont, Pennsylvania. This is the Ram Report.
Hello, I'm Ben Feldman.
Along with the Soul Cam.
For today's Ram Report, we hope everyone had a great spring break. Later in today's show, we will announce the student council candidates who will be moving on to the general election. But we begin today's show with a video previewing Harriton's upcoming National Day of Silence. Each year, the GSA-sponsored event serves to recognize the struggle of many LGBTQ+ students in feeling that they need to be silent about who they really are. We now turn to a video made by the GSA.
The Day of Silence is when people participate to spread awareness for the bullying and harassment that happens in the LGBTQ+ community.
The Day of Silence is a day that recognizes the struggles and the rights of people who have alternative lifestyles to live the life that they would like to live.
It's a day where people are silent because of the people in the LGBT+ community who were silenced for who they are.
The Day of Silence is a day dedicated in which we recognize the contributions to our society of the LGBT community by sort of considering what the world would be like without those contributions as if they were silenced.
The Day of Silence is a day to highlight the effects of LGBT bullying and harassment.
The Day of Silence is a day where members of the school community choose not to partake in speaking. They don't talk. And the reason why they don't talk is they're looking to bring awareness to the plight of homosexual students, transgendered students, and students dealing with the issues of sexuality, to bring awareness to the bullying that these students may face, the kind of uncomfortable idea of having to come out and the difficulties that may face, and some of the problems these individuals may have.
The Day of Silence is an opportunity for everyone, regardless of whether or not you're part of the LGBT community, to be silent and support all those who are forced into silence on a daily basis because it's something they can't change.
I'm participating because it raises awareness for the hate crimes that have plagued the LGBT+ community and caused everyone a lot of pain.
I am participating because I have the opportunity to stand for something larger than myself.
I know what it's like to be silenced because of who you are, and I want to make people aware of it because I'm normally not someone who is silent. People will notice if I am.
Participating in the Day of Silence because I believe that love should be equal and preference shouldn't dictate who's to be accepted and who isn't.
I'm participating in the Day of Silence because I don't think it is right to silence those in the LGBT community, and I want to show my solidarity to show what voices will be lost if we do silence those members of the LGBT community.
Because it's unfair for members of the community who are less fortunate that they have to be silent every day, and it's just the little things that you could do to be silent and stand up for people who are less fortunate, and I think it's just the right thing to do.
I support the Day of Silence as a person who believes that people should have freedoms, that they should live their life the way they want to, as long as they are not harming anyone.
I myself am not a silent person. It's a struggle for me to do that, but I like to acknowledge the fact that other students are being activists. Again, it's not a placard, it's not a march, it's not yelling, it's not playing loud music or thumping things. It's about just being, which I think is the essential thing. Just being. And I support that. That's what I do for a living. I support students being all that they can be.
One, because it extends the wall in this building, as far as my friends, my family, the students here, the greater community. So I support the Day of Silence because it extends beyond just what I do here. It's really the fabric of who I am based upon just personal experience and people around me who I love outside of this building.
To take a silent stand against something sends a pretty impactful message. What I really like about it is that in our school it's student run, and it's great to see the students kind of take charge of it and lead the way. And it's been around in our school long enough that it's a great tradition, and just something I'm proud of our school for doing.
Absolutely, I consider myself an ally. I really want this school and the school district to be a place where every student feels comfortable, regardless of sexual orientation, regardless of gender identity, are accepted, supported, and celebrated.
I do. People ask me, what do I do for a living? And I kind of half jokingly say, I'm saving civilization. We have this culture where confrontation is part of our thing, but the confrontation should end and begin and end and begin, and we should all have another chance at it. If we get it wrong the first time, maybe we can get it right the second time. We shouldn't be punished because we express our feelings.
Yeah, I absolutely consider myself an ally. Many members of my family are either bi or gay. We have members of my church who are transitioning. For me, I've always kind of grown up in a community where you just accept people for who they are, regardless of how they live their life or what they think, and you just treat people with respect and you treat people equally.
I absolutely am.
Most definitely an ally. Most definitely.
I'm an ally. I'm an ally. I'm an ally.
Yes, I am an ally.
Yes. Well, I'm part of the community, but I still consider myself an ally.
Heck yeah, I'm an ally.
Absolutely 100%. Wouldn't have it any other way.
Yes, I am an ally.
Is the sky blue? Are trees made out of wood? Am I an ally? Yes. Yes, absolutely.
I am most definitely an ally.
That video was filmed by Kevin Schur and edited by Lindsay Sayer. Once again, the Day of Silence will be this Friday, the 21st of April, and there will be a mandatory meeting regarding the Day of Silence during Learn 2 in the LGI on Thursday. In related news, the township will hold an event tonight for LGBTQ+ community dialogue at the board meeting room.
The Girls Empowerment Conference will be held at Lower Merion High School on Saturday, April 22nd from 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. The event is being hosted by the Students Advocating for Gender Equality, or SAGE, Club at Harriton, and its Lower Merion equivalent. The conference focuses on girls taking action against the harmful rhetoric and policies that have been unleashed since the election. Harriton Junior Liza Barson was quoted as saying, "Our conference will give students a chance to talk about actions we can take, personally and collectively, to fight back against discrimination and violence. We were inspired by the Women's March and other protests to choose empowerment as a theme for our conference." If you are interested in coming to this empowering conference, you can go to lmsd.org/girls-empowerment-conference, or you can reach out to lmsdgirlsleadershipconference@gmail.com.
And we now turn to Nick with sports. Nick?
Thanks, guys. Harriton baseball tied Maury High School 2 Saturdays ago 4-4. The Rams are 3-2-1 on the year and are currently fighting some injury troubles. Lorenzo Salone has a broken finger, but he will go for tomorrow's game at Ridley. Sam Nickberger is doubtful for tomorrow with a sprained ankle, and Jack Herman will likely be out for a while with an injury. We hope for the best in healing for all, as this team will perform their best with a full lineup. Narberth Rugby is 1-1 on the year after a loss to Media and a big win versus Kutztown. They play tonight at 6 o'clock at AA Garthwaite Stadium in Conshohocken versus Allentown, a winnable game for sure. Girls lacrosse has started the season out very strong with a 6-2 record on the year. They play Radnor today at home on Ferg turf. I'm feeling a big run for this year for the girls. They were very good last year, and they've been playing well here this year again as well. That's all for today, guys. Now back to the news desk.
Thanks, Nick. On the last Ram Report, we played part 2 of Ricky's enrollment growth series. Unfortunately, a technical error cut off the final 2 minutes of Ricky's report, which featured an interview with the superintendent. We are about to play the end of that report after a recap of the earlier parts of the video.
To recap, in the old Harriton and Lower Merion High Schools, there is a large difference in the student populations, as District Operations Director Pat Gannan explained to me.
There were roughly 1,600 students at Lower Merion High School and about 800 students at Harriton.
This drastic difference in student populations meant that at the old Harriton, the smaller school, students weren't able to take the same classes as their LM counterparts. Classes they wanted to take either ran at a lesser frequency or simply didn't run at all because of a lack of demand, which more specifically affected electives. The schools simply were not equal in what they offered to students. That's why in the late 2000s, the district built 2 new high schools that were said to be equal in size at 1,250 students. The school board agreed that the main reason they wanted to have 2 equal high schools was to ensure an equalized educational experience. The board went as far to say that having the schools be equal in size was a non-negotiable. The problem was that just as the schools were being built, enrollment unexpectedly rose. It meant that the 2 new high schools that had just been built hadn't been built large enough. Instead of building more classrooms onto both schools to handle additional enrollment, the district decided to only add capacity at Lower Merion, as adding classrooms there could be done at a lesser price than an expansion at Harriton. The district allowed for students which had previously been assigned to go to Harriton the option of going to Lower Merion. Many students exercised this option. This alleviated some of the pressure at Harriton. But it doesn't fix Harriton's enrollment problem. This year, the school reached 1,250 students, which is the very amount the school is intended to hold. Over the years, though, the district has found ways to stretch the number of students it can hold.
Things have changed, plus there was a lot of flexibility built into the new high schools. The superintendent, Dr. McGinley, his thought was that the way they were built, they could handle easily up to 1,400 students. At Lower Merion High School, we're about 1,440 right now. But as you know, we just completed some renovation work in the old administration building.
This brings me back to the idea of equal enrollment and equal programming, which is something that was stressed so much by the school board when they last redistricted. Currently, Lower Merion is projected to have at most 300 more students than Harriton as a result of enrollment growth and the expansion of the choice zone. I went to Superintendent Copeland to find out if they still thought that they can keep programming equal when there will be such a large difference in student count between the schools.
Are you and the district committed to keeping programming equal at both high schools, and how can you do that if you're going to have so many more students at one high school?
Well, programming and opportunities outside of some experiences are equal, but Lower Merion doesn't have an IB, so there are some differences that have existed, and some kids have a choice and other kids don't have a choice. The thinking right now, and again, the board is really doing deep contemplation on this, but the thinking right now is to maintain the current ratios, which has Lower Merion larger than Harriton, but keeping the programs the same, meaning you can get the same AP courses that you can at both schools. You're going to have similar kinds of experiences. Sometimes electives shift a little bit because of student demand. If for some reason kids want a course in Harriton and they don't want it in Lower Merion, you'll see minor differences like that.
My next video will focus on how enrollment has affected the elementary and middle schools. But for now, reporting for HHS TV, I am Ricky Reports.
Thanks, Ricky. In local news, Harrison Meyer, an 18-year-old graduate of Lower Merion and student at the University of Pennsylvania, is running for Lower Merion School Board. If he wins, he will become the youngest ever member of the school board. According to university newspaper, the Daily Pennsylvanian, while Meyer did not receive any party endorsements, he said he did receive the support of Narberth mayoral candidate Davis Burton.
The next A Day will be shortened sets. The presentation on drunk driving that was originally scheduled for before break has been moved to this Monday, which will be after junior prom, although before senior prom still. In related news, Ricky still does not have a date to senior prom, unlike the last news report. He told us to say that. Next week will also be the Student Council general election. The candidates in the general elections are as follows, in alphabetical order. For President, Max Beck, Emma Dans, Andrew Kofsky. For Vice President, Sarah Marks, Jack Mendelson. For Secretary, Ben Feldman, Grace Morrissey. For Treasurer, Olivia Ebner, Roshni Parikh. For Sergeant-at-Arms, Robert Cho Fleming, Lauren Levy. Each candidate will get a chance to address you live in the auditorium, and then a vote will follow by Google form.
And that'll be all for today's Ram Report. Signing off, this is the Soul Kim
And Ben Feldman.
from all of us here at HHS TV. Thanks for watching the Ram Report.